What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of
Arkatech.
Yo, it's the Arkatech Beatz music production and beat making live stream. And we get on every night about 9 o'clock, but it's about almost 10:30. I had to take my kids to the movies tonight. Went to go see Lilo and Stitch. You know, it was all right. But tonight we're going to get into some music production, some beat making tonight. Well, actually, what we're going to do tonight, is I've been cooking up every night about 2 to 3 beats every night for the last 30 days. But there are some beats that some people want, right? I'm not going to say the names, of course. But, so I got to clean them up, got to mix them, got to, sequence them, etc., etc. So while I'm doing that tonight, I want y'all to follow along with me. And we go from there, you know what I mean? So this is the first joint we're going to get into. If it's your first time here, man, make sure you're subscribing. Multi-platinum producers, let's go. Try to bring this down into the mix a little bit. I hear it buzzing in there. Bring that down a little bit into the mix. Right? AJ, I see you, man. And we're gonna make this our main verse, right? We're gonna get this main. Get these tracks named properly so I know what I'm doing on these. This is kind of like a synth chords. You know what I mean? Get that in. I'll bring this up a little bit. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Make sure y'all sharing the live. It's A minor. Go get some strings in here. Tripping. me get fix up this, make sure my things are triggering the right way. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. If it's your first time here, I'm Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz, multi-platinum producers, Big Pun Nas, Max B, Freddie Gibbs, Killer Mike, The Game, Raekwon, Jadakiss, you name it, we've done it. Let's go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transpose this down, and then I'm gonna add a another one on top. Let me see here. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Now let's add that on top. Bring it down to the mix. Chad, I need a name for the beat. I like that fantasy. Let's go. Miami Dice. Like that too. Raw, what up, man? Shout out to everybody that's rocking with me on a Friday night. We've been going live for the last 30 days, 37 days straight. We've been cooking up tracks every single night. People have been walking through the process, asking questions about the music business, music publishing, copyright, you name it, we help. So what up? And listen, we cooked this up a while ago. I'm just coming back to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we cooked this up weeks ago. And right now what we need to do is we just need to, now I need to piece it together, because a lot of times what y'all see me do is you see me put the ideas down, and now I gotta piece it together to make it into a cohesive record that we can send out as part of a beat pack, right? So now I've been going back and I'm listening to these beats, because I think somebody had asked me, I think a shout out to E Santana. It was like, yo, Jug, how many beats you did in the last month? And I'm like, yo, I lost count. I ain't even really, like every night we cooking up at least 2 to 3 joints. And we talk about 2 to 3 fire joints. So people who was in here last night, they know what I'm talking about. But they all types of vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like this one is a smooth vibe. But last night, man, it was like I had a spin the block type joint, man. The Ops was in there or something like that. It was so crazy, some of those beats. Like, you know what I mean? So, see what I'm saying? Like, this is another beat that's in here. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta come back to that and like make that into something else. Like right now I want to just work on this one. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna focus on this real quick. Make sure that I'm staying in the zone right now. So I need everybody to just stick with me to completion, right? And I'm just gonna show you what I do. Like I said, to put the beat together in order for us to get it ready for a beat pack. So let's go. So right now what we're gonna do is this first sequence is gonna be our intro, right? And
Arkatech.
let's get the tags in there.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech.
It says, if I'm correct, you are turning a beat into a kit. No, I'm not. I'm turning a beat into I'm trying to sequence it so that I have everything in. So right now I'm adding my tag. Elaine, what up?
Arkatech Beatz.
Right, so this is gonna be my intro. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this sequence into this one, and then I'm gonna name this the verse. Then we're gonna copy it again. We're gonna throw it into the next one. It's gonna be the verse part 2. So we're gonna do 8 bars and 4 bars. And then the last one is going to be, we're gonna copy it again, and we're gonna turn this into the hook. And now we have our basic parts of the song. And then what we need to do now is we need to go into each part, and then we need to play the mute game. So in our intro, we're doing the whole thing. So we're doing the strings and everything. So listen to how that's going to go for at least for the intro.
Arkatech Beatz.
Make sure y'all sharing the live, liking the live.
Arkatech Beatz.
Right, now we're going to go into the verse, which is going to be.
Arkatech Beatz.
Johnny's asking, is Soundtrap a good budget software to begin as a producer? If you're going to start, I would tell you to use FL Studio. If you're just starting, I would tell you to use that. It'll give you everything that you need, and I think it's a good place to start to learn. Especially because it's so robust, you know what I mean? In terms of, like, if you start at FL and you master FL, you might really not need to use another software again in terms of for production, right? That's how I teach my kids on FL first, because it's about learning about the grids, the piano roll, and those things are going to be consistent across every DAW, every type of platform that you're going to work in. So once you learn that, then you can damn near bounce to Ableton. You can bounce to Logic. You can bounce between different joints just because of knowing that one. And it's such an easy bar of entry. Like, you can literally start making beats in the first 5 minutes. I'm not using MPC Beats. I'm using straight standalone software. Standalone hardware. I'm not using any software with this right now. The only software that I'm using is to stream, but not to make the beats. And I'm missing a sound. I'm missing a sound here, and I think I have to add it back in here. Oh, that's the verse. I need to go to the intro. All right, we're missing the sound now. Where is it at? Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. There's hi-hats in there. Okay. We're gonna shout out to everybody. Somebody said, play the beat. Can I fix it? Can I fix it before I play it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can I fix the beat? There we go.
Arkatech.
Okay, I think I know what to do here. Okay. So shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's liking the live. we're going to go to the second part of the verse. And we're going to turn this from 8 bars to 4. And then we're going to take out probably the bass line. Yo, Christian, I know that's like, are you trolling me? You know, Big Pun been dead for 20 years, man. Come on now. We got to get that in, right? We got to get this sound in right there for this part of the breakdown. Then we're gonna go back into the hook. What you go? Jeez, man, we be here every night, man. Sometimes I'm supposed to start at 9. I'm supposed to start at 9. I'm starting late because, I had to do the family thing, hang out with the kids, whatever. The kids are out of school and stuff. So I had to go take them to go see that Lilo and Stitch. It's actually a pretty good movie if you got kids. It's clean. We don't got to worry about nothing in there too crazy. But, it's pretty good. So now what we're going to do now that I have all of my parts, right? So now we're going to name this. We call it Miami Dice. Shout out to the homie that named it in the chat. And then we start with the intro, right? And then we're going to go right into the verse. We're going to go into the second part of the verse. Then we go back into the hook. And the hook is on sequence 4. Then we're going to repeat that. Go back into the verse. Second part of the verse. Go back to the hook, first part of the verse, and then this beat is over with. All right? So now, let's listen to what we did just to make sure that it plays and it mutes where it's supposed to play and mute, and then we go from there. Uh-oh, something is overplaying here. I don't like that sound. Where we at here? There we go. Just make sure all of that is out. All right, let's go. Something is doubling up. Come on now, what's going on here? I hear something crazy. go.
Arkatech Beatz.
What is going on tonight? MPC is not doing what I wanted to do tonight. Alright, this is the verse. That's gotta come out. The lead gotta come out. Alright. Alright. Okay. Again, let's try it again.
Arkatech Beatz.
Okay.
Arkatech Beatz.
We're almost there. Yeah, almost there, people. We're almost there. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. What pun song I produce? I produce, me and my partner, Mike Trauma D, we produce Capital Punishment. And then on the second album, we did the song Leatherface. And then on the first Terror Squad album, we did a song called Triple Threat with Pun. Pun put us on all the records, on every project that he worked on. You know, he put us on. You know, so rest in peace to him. Big Pun changed my life. You know what I Alright, I think we should be good now. So I'm gonna just play it straight. It's alright.
Arkatech Beatz.
That's the whole point of the live, man. Is to get people to get familiar with my work. Well, they already know my work, but get familiar with me. Thomas got it. See how that tag ain't supposed to be there in that one. Nah, man, no. Listen, man, don't worry about all that, man. We just here to work, man. You know, like I said, for people who may not be familiar with me, but they may be familiar with my work. Like I said, we did a lot of Big Pun stuff. Shout out to rest in peace to Prodigy of Mobb Deep. You know, we got a record with Prodigy featuring Nas called Self Conscious. If you never heard that, go check it out. Rest in peace to him. We got a record with like Shorty Low. Rest in peace with him. Rest in peace to Trouble, ATL. If you're from Atlanta, you know about Trouble, DTE. Rest in peace to him. You know, we got records on him as well. And rest in peace to Lil Keed. If you're familiar with him, he used to be with the YSL, with Young Thug and those guys. Big guy, big young artist out of Atlanta, man. Unfortunate passing, but, our career is, from, we've worked with everybody in between, Little Scrappy, Freddie Gibbs, Sci-Hi the Prince, Killer Mike, Waka Flocka, Jadakiss, The Game. So for those who know, you know what I mean? Why you do that, Max B, So if you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then that's what the live is about. The live is for you to really come back and check it out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all our records. You know what I mean? Like all of those things that you're listening to, man, that's what it is. Yep, from Queensbridge Finest. And we also did Kids in the PJs on that album too as well. That's Nas featuring the Bravehearts. And then we got some other Nas records out there in the stratosphere. Nas, My Worst Enemy, Is Me. A few other joints, man. Blackness. You gotta go look out. You gotta go look for them, you know what I mean? If you see it, you know what it is. Make sure you go check out that Lloyd Banks. It's called Taking Notes. Arkatech Beatz. So now that I think I got this beat good here. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just listen to it one more time to make sure it plays correctly before I export it. But before I export the beat, I need to make sure of a few things, which is, one, the tempo is 84. And the key is A minor. So 84, A minor, we have to remember that for later. 84 and A minor. So make sure everybody remembers that, or maybe put it into the chat, 84 and A minor. And not A minor like Kendrick Lamar and Drake, not like that. All made up from the Bronx, man.
Arkatech Beatz. Share button. If you haven't already, follow me. Make sure y'all follow me. We're here every night, man. We cooking up. We teaching about the music business.
it. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to export this. We're going to export it to an MP3, not a wave, because if I do it as a wave, it'll do something funky. I'm going to add about 10 seconds on the audio tail rather. So that'll help to kind of give it that, like, have the effects kind of play out. So when it ends without a fade. We're going to export this. We're going to put it into my MP3 folder. And this beat is named Miami Dice by Arkatech Beatz. All right, you want to name your beats. You want to put the name of your beat. You want to put the name of you in your beat. So when you send it out, they know what it is. And then we want to put the BPMs, right? 84 BPMs, beats per minute. That's the speed of the beat. So when they get it, they can loop it fast. And then we want to put the key. That's the new thing now. A minor, no Kendrick Lamar. I try to go live between 9 and 10 o'clock. Sometimes I'm on the East Coast. Right now I'm in Atlanta, but I'm originally from the Bronx. But for the most part, I try to go live between 9 and 10 o'clock. My brain is trying to make sure that I can get on at 9. But when you got young kids, things be happening. So I be trying to get on. I try to get on at 9. I really want to be meticulous about getting on at 9. I think a lot of it. I want people to understand that this music business is about consistency right now. It's about consistency in terms of making music, consistency in terms of dealing with your people that are engaged with you, and then consistency in terms of putting out content. That's the only way to win in 2025 and beyond. So for people who are just getting into music, that's what I really want people to understand. And we try to be the example of that, you know what I mean? So we're exporting this song now. So as it exports, we'll be done with this and then we can move on. I need to find another track that it's another track that basically that needs to be mixed. And then I know I had some people that was asking about, like, what equipment do we use and that type of stuff. If you go to the website, arkatechbeatz.com, if you hit on the menu, there is a section that has in the menu it has a section that's our gear list. So you can kind of see the gear between myself and my partner, Mike Trauma D, what we use collectively. So you might see like 2 audio interfaces, but these are things that we both use. So just so that you're kind of aware of what's happening on that. Now, I don't really do a live where I don't necessarily do the lives where I got people coming into the lives. Is because, this is streaming across all of my platforms, Twitch, Kick, and everything. So it's a little bit hard to kind of know who's going to do what, or, get your channel banned, type of weird type of stuff going on. You know what I mean? So we don't really take those type of risks with this type of platform. All right, let's take a look now. Let's go back to some more beats. And like I said, we did that beat last month. So we did this one already. Machine, a moment. This one says called Total Dream. Let me save this beat, make sure it's saved. Have any producers flipped the track that you created? Not recently. I did have one. I had one person flip a track, way back in a while back, but that turned into a legal problem. You know what I mean? So Oh, wait a minute. I can't do it that way. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go look at, see what I did. Let me see this. Let me see this Mile High. I think we did this already, but let me check it for sure. Let me make sure. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to everybody that's sending the gifts. I appreciate you. Oh, we already did this record. Okay.
Arkatech Beatz.
Now let's try this. Let's try this other one. That one is already good. Your boy Swagger, what up? Yeah, that's what we're here to do, man. We try to see if we can get people to get started. Like, you know, people are afraid to get into this music business. They see the craziness going on with Diddy and stuff. People start, you know, don't want to get into it anymore. You know, so, and then people are feeling like, you know, they're too old or this or that. Like, listen, we're here to tell you different. And also, I tell people to ask me anything in the chat as it relates to the music business. I've been here so long. Not just as a producer, but as an A&R consultant, as a business consultant. I help folks get their royalties. You know, just kind of help folks overall with their business, whether it be through setting up their social media, their e-commerce, you name it, we do that. Yeah, we have MPC3 software in here. I don't like that. I don't like that either. Nope, that ain't it. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on until we find what we're looking for. So that wasn't it. So let's see what else we got. And we did. That was No Man Land. Let's see what this Tuesday wind sound like. Man, tune in the vibes. Tune into the lives, man. You know what I'm saying? The lives. And while I'm doing it on the lives, you can just follow with your own samples, man, and then see how I'm building them. You know what I mean? And that's probably the best way to do this. I know you're watching it on TikTok, but if you watch it on YouTube, the screen is bigger. You can see the entire MPC, and you can see what I'm doing. I think I did this one already. I sure didn't. What? Nah, I know I did this. So many beats, man. I'm just sitting here like, yo, what's really good? I think let's try the Total Dream. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Everything is streaming at the same time. It's YouTube, Kick, Twitch, Twitter. Yeah, we multi-stream, man. So whatever platform you like, that's what we on. Facebook. Okay, I think I remember this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix this one. Y'all ready? Let's go. Cheese, what up? This is crazy right here. We're gonna build us up.
Arkatech Beatz.
This is gonna be our verse right here. This is the Total Dream verse. And then this one right here is gonna be the hook. And this is gonna be quick.
Arkatech Beatz.
Hold on. Before I move on, let me see what else I got in here. That's something different. What's this one? Right. Okay, so see what I've been doing when we be cooking up. I just be going from different samples in the same song, which is probably a mistake. Probably shouldn't do it that way. Like I need to separate these tracks because there'll be like different things going on in them. I need to name this one so I can start to delete the stuff. All right, bet. So now what we got? The verse. That's the hook. All right. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to copy this into the first two champion. Yeah, we're going to put a tag on this. Shout out to everybody in the live. Yeah, this is a feel good vibe. It's a little bit faster. You know, people don't really make beats this like, well, I shouldn't say they don't make beats this fast. Just depends on the genre, right?
Arkatech.
Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
Alright, so that's what we're gonna do now, right? This is called A Total Dream. We're gonna name it. We're gonna add in our hook with the tag. Then we're gonna go right to the verse. Then we're gonna go to the second verse. Then we're going to go back to the hook. Back to the verse. Verse part 2. Back to the hook. And then back to verse. And we should be good there.
Arkatech Beatz.
I think I know what to do something different here. I think I know what to do here. Okay, so this is what we need to do here. second verse, the second part of the verse. Right? And I think we should be good now. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that likes the live. Shout out to the new subscribers.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to the new followers. We're here every night at 9 o'clock. Music production, beat making. Save this. This is what I wanted to do. E minor, 98 BPMs. We're going to export it. We're going to do the MP3. We're going to export this. And this is called The Total Dream. By Arkatech Beatz. And look, you never know who shares your stuff, because who you might send it to might not be where it ends up. So you want to make sure your MP3s are named accurately, and you want to have the BPMs on it for some of those engineers that might not be too good when it comes to looping. And I think we should be good. All right. We're going to export that. Shout out to the Blade Network. Shout out to the Briefing Room. Cheese. Ilian, what up? Chris, what up? I am Rob, what up? Rob Mully, I see you, man. What's up, man? And we're just exporting this song. And how long we been live? Now we've been live for about an hour. I'm probably do one more. But this is what we have to do after we make the beats, man. We have to sequence them, and we have to prepare them for sending them out. If we don't do that, like, they're just going to sit in my box. And it sitting in my box can't make you any money. So, you know, you got to get them out. And you have to decide if you're going to put it out yourself, or you have to determine if you want to move it to any established artist. Man, you know, in this case, we got a few established artists that want some things from us, so we're trying to prepare that for them. So we just did The Total Dream. Let me see what this share the process sound like. Like some of these beats, I don't remember what they sound like. Shout out to the new followers. one's crazy. Might have to do that too. Hold on a second. God damn it. It's like I said, man, we be cooking up so much in the lives. We be cooking up 3 different tracks in the same live. So, alright. Let me save this as a new project. I'll save this is what I'm gonna call it, share the process. Pardon me. Let's save that. Rich, what up, man? It's good to see you. Yeah. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do with this one. This beat is called Share the Process. So I already got a hook here. So what I'm gonna do with this one here, so I'm gonna go here.
Arkatech Beatz.
Do a new track. Yeah, it got a little move to it. Wait for Max B to come home.
Arkatech Beatz.
Alright, so now what we want to do is we're going to, I got my verse, the hook, verse. That's a totally different beat, man. It's crazy.
Arkatech Beatz.
Alright, bet. So now we're gonna name this sequence. It's called Share the Process. We're going into song mode now, okay? So now we're going to song mode. We're gonna add our individual. We got the hook with the tag. Then we got the verse. Then we got the verse part 2. Then we got the regular hook. Then we're going back into the verse. Verse part 2. back to the hook, and then back to the verse, right? And basically it's going to give me 8 sequences, and that should give me what I need in terms of the entire song mode. Now, before I go any further, let me make sure of something. So this is A sharp minor 82, A sharp minor, A sharp minor. Let's remember that tempo and that pitch. That's 82 tempo, BPMs, and A sharp minor is the key. Let's go. We're gonna need that for when we name the beat. I'm missing stuff here. What happened? Where's my piano at? My piano needs to be turned up.
Arkatech Beatz.
All right. And then we go back to that second part of that verse.
Arkatech Beatz.
Jeez, we're not digging in any more crates. Well, not me really. And I talk about this extensively on the lives. Is I try to stay away from sampling traditionally like we used to. It's because of the sample clearance issues, and and also the copyright strikes. So I can't necessarily go live using people's music. If I'm using people's music, then YouTube will take it down, or I'll get a copyright strike. So I have to use royalty-free things in order to make it go. This beat is called Share the Process.
Arkatech Beatz.
Why isn't that? I'm noticing something. Nothing here. Nothing here. Did I do that by design? Oh, this is here. And then what about in verse 1? Oh, okay. I see what's going on. Okay, cool. Let's do it again. right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to export this as an MP3. We got everything that we need. We built everything that we needed to build.
Arkatech.
A minor 82. A sharp minor, excuse me. We're going to export this MP3. Okay. This beat is called Share the Process. And I'm sharing the process with you. It is 82 BPMs. And it is a sharp minor. And we're going to export it to MP3. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's sharing the live, liking the live, sending hearts, sending flowers, sending whatever gifts. I appreciate that. We get together every day at 9 o'clock or around 9ish to go over beat making, music production, music business, social media marketing, and it's telling the great stories about the lovely music business and how lovely the music business can be in your life. Kaz, what up, man? Joshua, what up, man? So listen, I want to talk about something that came to my attention as a producer recently. And, you know, you'll have some people out there that's talking about your producer agreements and saying that, you know, you're supposed to get points, you know, on your, the old school way is that you normally get about 3 to 4 points if you're a new producer on, the project. And I want my producers in 2025 to understand that 3 to 5 point stuff is antiquated, because it's only supposed to be applied to like physical copies, where 3 to 5% is, would be good on a CD that costs $20. When it comes to streaming, it should no longer be applicable. And just make sure that your attorneys are not using that old language. They should be looking for close to anywhere between 10 to 20% of the gross or net receipts on streaming. And we want to make sure that we're asking for that, because we have to make up the difference for the percentages for streaming. Streaming is just so low that you can't do it with the 3 to 5%. And a lot of us older producers were locked into agreements before streaming was even invented. And, it puts us at a severe disadvantage, because a lot of our contracts had language in it for what they would call new technology. And they didn't define what new technology would be, but they apply it to everything. So those are things that you have to make sure that if you're in your agreements now, that if new technology comes along, like AI and stuff like that, that your rates need to be renegotiated to make sure that you have the right percentages for new technology, or you lock yourself in at anywhere between 10 to 20% of gross receipts, no matter what the technology is, right? So we just exported the Share the Process beat.
Arkatech Beatz.
All right, we love that, right? We love where that's going. We're going to save that. And we're going to look for one more track to do tonight. This beat is called Slow Motion. Let's see what it sounds like. If it says slow motion, it means that it's probably slow. So let's see what it sounds like. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. That's okay. Different, but I think this might be the beat. Yeah, we definitely got to do that. Yeah, we got to do that one. So let's save this project as, and the name of this beat is called Beautiful Flies. Don't ask me why we came up with this name. Somebody in the chat might have given it to me. And what we need to do now is we need to get this broken into. Now, what beat is this? What's on this one? Sky, it's coming out of the box, man. already did it, but I didn't do it. Okay, so this is really the verse. And then the one before it is. Let me find my sample. Alright, we're going to cut that in half. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go from this verse 1, this is going to be verse 2. So let's do it like this. Shout out to everybody in the live.
Arkatech Beatz.
Got it. Okay, so now this is going to be the hook. And then now we got to copy this and we got to make we got to add our tag in it. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Calvin, what up, man? Glad you could join us, man. Shout out to all my regulars in the lives. You know what I mean? The supporters, the folks that make the lives really going. You know, the engagers, the one that's asking the questions, the ones that's keeping the moderating the lives. The ones that are working. You just opened up Reason. It's 12 o'clock at night in the Eastern Standard. So I said, you just getting started. Let's go. Kaz, what up?
Arkatech.
Now we're going into song mode. We call it this one is called Beautiful Fly. Beautiful Flyers rather. And then also we need I need somebody to remember the key here is this D sharp minor, and the tempo is 72. You're gonna go D sharp minor. All right, now D is in David. Sky, you the man. Let's go. So now what we got going on here now, we're going to do the first one is, which one is this? Is 3 the tag? No, 3 is not the tag. 6 is the tag. Okay. Alright, so boom. Now we're gonna do our intro with the tag. Then we're gonna go on to verse 1. Then we're gonna go on to verse 2. Then we're going back into the hook. Verse 1. Verse 2. Back into the hook. And then back into the verse. And end it off with that. I need some. We got to make it sound more beautiful. You understand? Like, it's a beautiful sample. We got to make it sound stunning. Steels, I'm from the Bronx. Johnny Streets, I'm from the Bronx. So what we're doing right now, Sky, is we're doing a combination of, we're basically formatting the song. These are beats that we did from previous lives. So I have a bunch of beats in here from previous lives that are basically their ideas. We never structured them as songs. So what I'm doing now is I'm structuring them as songs, doing any last minute edits, making sure that the tags are there, and really getting ready to export these because I have a bunch of artists that are basically asking for some of these tracks. We try to put tracks on our website for indie, because we do a combination of indie stuff with the regular industry stuff with our regular clientele in terms of like, the usual suspects like the Locks and these guys and like this guy here and that guy here. I won't name any more names, but just for people to kind of understand what we're dealing with. So I'm walking people through the process so they can see how I'm doing it, how I'm preparing the tracks for beat packs and for established artists. And then I'm also putting tracks out with limited licensing for aspiring or upcoming artists, right? So artists that are very serious, artists that are real willing to invest in themselves. We're only trying to work with certain types and certain caliber of independent artists. So if people are serious, then, they go to our website. We make certain tracks available, but they're limited, right? So we'll make, once it's out and once the licenses are done, they're gone. You know what I mean? So, this is what we're doing. Take a listen to what we did with this track.
Beatz.
All right, let's export it. Beautiful flyer, 72 BPMs, D sharp minor. The beat is doing exactly what we need it to do. No, what am I doing? What? Fingers moving too fast, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. What we said, it was 72 D sharp, right? Calvin trolling me right now, D sharp, man. Yeah, we out of here. We exporting it now. Shout out to everybody that's into the live. Yo, there's any questions, man? Does anybody have any questions tonight, man? You know? Yeah, so I was talking about it earlier where we made a mistake. And I want to talk about this too. I made a mistake where we had an artist that took a record from us, but they didn't get a formal producer agreement. So they didn't get a formal producer agreement. So, you know, typically how that goes is I reach out to somebody at the label and I go, hey, such and such is using our record. They don't have a formal producer agreement. We like to kind of get it squared away before we start to issue or threaten takedowns. Sometimes they listen and they try to work it out, and then sometimes I have to escalate it to our attorney. So in this case, we had to escalate it to our attorney, and we went through a long back and forth, and then we wind up pretty much getting a settlement. So we settled for, you know, we basically asked for a few things on that particular agreement. And some of the things that we had asked for is we asked for a higher royalty rate, of course. And then we also asked for featured artist credit, so that it would be an artist featuring Arkatech Beatz. And one part of the error was they did give us that metadata. They changed the metadata to reflect that on the record. But one mistake that we made is that you don't want it to be the featured artist. You want to be a main artist. So basically it turns into like a collaboration and not a feature. And some people are saying, well, what's the difference? As a feature, you don't get the monthly streams added to your numbers like the main artist does. So if you're a featured artist, then you don't get the benefit of that. But if you're a main artist or a main collaborating artist, then you get the benefit of the streaming counts counting towards your numbers for every month. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two was because the record was used unauthorized, we had negotiated a settlement amount. So the amount, half of it was a fee, basically for, you know, using the beat unauthorized, and then the other part of it was a recoupable advance. So let's say, for example, it was say it was $50,000. So, 25,000 might have been the fee, and then the other 25,000 might have been a recoupable advance. So the second part of the mistake that we made with this was making any part of that settlement dollar amount in advance. If any time you're getting your record used unauthorized and you've gotten to the table where now you're going to get paid a settlement, none of the money that you're getting should be recoupable. And that's the game that we have to play with them. So that now you use the record, you exploited it against, illegally. This is the amount that you're paying us for it now. And it's not considered a recoupable advance. It's just considered a fee for you using what you did. And then we're going to continue to collect royalties moving forward without having to quote unquote recoup. So hopefully that didn't go over your heads, but that's something that came to my attention, and it's something that now we have to make sure moving forward that if that ever occurs again, to just make sure that those things aren't happening, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting your name on the record. You want to make sure you're getting your name on the record. You don't want it to be a featured artist. You want it to be a main artist, like a collaborating artist, kind of like how you would have a Metro and a Future. You want to make sure, or 21 Savage and a Drake. You want to make sure that it's a co-album or a co-song. And then you want to make sure that if they're using your music unauthorized, any money that they pay you in terms of settlement should never be recoupable. Don't let them do that to you. So, just for people to kind of be aware of that, right? So this beat is Beautiful Flyers. We've already done it. We're going to save it. We're going to go back and browse through our tracks again, and we're going to see if we have any more tracks that need to be sequenced and or mixed. Crafty stream, man, yo. Listen, that's the whole thing here, man. That's why I always tell people in the lives, ask me anything, right? When I was coming up in this thing, I did not have the benefit of the internet like this. We had internet, but not like this. Not to where people who were, I couldn't get Pete Rock on a stream, you know what I mean? Or Large Professor or DJ Premier. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't ask RZA questions. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what happened, He said we had Netscape. Now we had America Online, if you're old enough. if you're old enough to remember that. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm just telling folks, man, like, ask the questions, man. Like, ask the questions. Like, I definitely don't want anybody to, to have to go through some of the stuff that we went through, man. Like, for real. All right, so we just did Share the Process. We did the Total Dream. I don't know what this beat is. This beat says called Hit a Lick. I don't know what that means. It means that we hit some money. Let's see what it sounds like, because I don't remember. I don't remember like that, man. We be doing so many joints. I don't remember. my joint sound like that? Someone is asking, Kaz is asking where I like to stay in terms of my BPM. If I'm being honest, I don't like to do that. I like the sample to kind of dictate it. I don't like to kind of predetermine where I want to stay in terms of my tempos, because that kind of creates a situation where all your joints start sounding the same. And you do want to have a sound, but you don't want to sound like, overly redundant. You know what I mean? Because what will happen is that once you start gravitating to a certain key, like two things that I don't like to do. I don't like to try to play in the same key, and I don't like to play in the same tempo. I like to kind of move around. And if you were here from the beginning of the live, there were beats that were like 98 BPMs, beat that was 80 BPM, some 67. Like it just varies based on what the samples are doing. I'm looking for melodic, So whether it be melodic in terms of pop, R&B, rock, I'm just looking for, melodic. And then I'm looking for things that stretch out, maybe 2, maybe 4 bars, 8 bars. I typically don't do anything that's like 1 bar loops. I don't look for those. I don't think there's enough nuance in it to keep a person interested over the, for the length of a song. This joint here, it has a very ill sample. But what I don't like about it, it's warping. And I think it's because I have it going up 8 semitones, and that's probably just too many. And it's kind of distorting the key of this thing. So once it starts to do that, it'll make it very difficult to add additional sounds, because it's changing the sound and then it has to be stretched to keep the tempo. So it's a little trippy. So I'm going to try to bring it down and see if that changes it. Sounds funny to me. I like it where it was. It just sounds really strange when we get to the second part of it. Let's try a different algorithm in terms of the warping and repitching. Kaz, what are you using to source your samples? figure this out. Like, I don't. Is it TF? Yeah, I can't say. I can't say I like this. Like, I like the groove of it. But I gotta figure out if I gotta keep that pitch. That pitch, I like it at that pitch, right? What I might have to do with this, right, which is probably gonna sound crazy, but I might have to export the sample, put it into either FL or Serato, see if I could pitch it up without the artifacts, and then bring it back into the MPC, because the artifacts that it's giving me, I'm not sure I like it what it's doing, because it kind of like, especially toward the end of the sample, you hear like the warping of the piano, and it's kind of throwing it off key to me. So sometimes you have to kind of think it through, sleep on it, try to see if your brain can figure out the puzzle of it all, because it is a puzzle. And if anybody was to ask me, like, yo, what is it? It's really a puzzle. It's like a math problem that we're trying to figure out. What's this night piano? Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to all of the followers in the live. We've been live 2 hours now. It's almost 12:30. What? And you would think it's the weekend, I could sleep in. Now with those 2 kids, can't sleep in, bro. Yeah, I might have to do that, but I'm not going to do it tonight.
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that's already out. That's called the Captivation, for those who haven't heard that before. What's this one called Locomotive? Trying to figure out what this sound like. Anybody got any questions in the chat, man? Ask me anything, man. So what artists did I enjoy working with the most? I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Nas and Raekwon. Like Raekwon, my experience with Raekwon, working with him was like, it was extensive, right? Meaning like over a course of maybe like half a year. You know, I probably seen the man like daily, right? Traveled to Atlanta. We recorded in Atlanta, and then we recorded in California. So like recording with him was probably one of the most life altering experiences, because when we were working with him, and basically, like I said, we were kind of part of that internal camp when he was doing the American Cream Team stuff. We moved as a unit, right? So we ate when he ate. You know, anytime we went anywhere, we went with him. Right? So say, for example, we was out here in Atlanta. When I first came out here to Atlanta, we were going to like 112, and there was a club called like Kaya back in the day and stuff like that. Like all of these places, and we would, you know, roll as a unit, and then we would get that treatment, like that Wu-Tang treatment, you know. So it was like, okay, I enjoyed that, you know, Hollywood Hills living, Beverly Hills type living. I enjoyed that. And then Nas, working with Nas was probably the most surreal. Like it was surreal, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to realize, like, in New York late 90s, everybody knows like Nas was him. Like, you know, it was like him. He was him. This is after Illmatic. This is It Was Written. This is after It Was Written. Totally big numbers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a guy in his prime. So first in our first meeting with him, like I said, we had met with him at a listening party for Raekwon. It was Raekwon's listening party for his second album, Immobilarity, at the Hit Factory, and I don't forget this. So when we met him, it was kind of a quick exchange of information, you know, hit me up. And then going from, you know, reaching out to him, I remember that you know, that initial phone call, like, yo, you know, where you at? I want to get you this music. And then him saying, yo, I'm downtown at here, da 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 da. And I just remember us piling into the car, and it's just gunning downtown, right? Just gunning to get down to downtown Manhattan. Catch him on the street, you know what I'm saying? In the whip. Give him the CD. And then, like, I just remember just getting that call, like, immediately after he got the CD, man. It couldn't be more than, like, 15 minutes. And then just, like, setting up the studio time, and then going in the studio and just seeing his process, seeing him write, seeing him freestyle. Because he did a combination of some freestyles and then a combination of him writing. So it was a combination of two things. And, you know, we were in the studio with him for maybe the course of maybe 2 or 3 days. because we wind up doing a total of we did a total of 4 records in that particular session, or those particular early sessions. And then when we went back with them again, we did another one that's an unreleased. And then the Self-Conscious record, we didn't experience him doing that. What happened was, with that record, we got a call from Prodigy to come down to the studio. He was working on one of the Mobb Deep stuff with Alchemist. Shout out to him. He was in the studio at the time. And he played us the Self-Conscious record. And he said, "Yo, I got a surprise for y'all." And then he had Nas on it. So I'm like in the studio, like I can't believe it. Like I can't believe that Nas is on this record. And it was supposed to go on his debut album, HNIC. But he said Nas wanted it. And he gave it to Nas for the QB Finest album. So, hindsight being 2020, we should have said, "Yo, man, put it on both albums." That's what we should have asked for. Right? We should have asked him to put it on both albums. They're both in the Sony system. It would have been possible to do. You know what I mean? But we just didn't ask. But we should have. For him to make it a joint project. Put it on the QB album and put it on yours as a bonus track. You know what I mean? That would have been slick. We could have got paid 2 times. And then the record would be moving, you know, a lot deeper in perpetuity. So that's just my thought process. And I just remember leaving that studio that night. And I was in total glee. Like, you know, I was so happy. Like for those who are like native New Yorkers, like I said, you know the impact of a Nas, but also the impact of Mobb Deep. The impact of Mobb Deep with that Shook Ones, with that Infamous album. Come on now, like y'all have to understand like how that changes the trajectory of a lot of guys' lives. Like I remember going to college with this thing in my headphones, just listening to the 41st Side and the Start of Your Ending and all of these songs, and you know. Those were the days when, you used to have to walk around with your gun, but it was like this is the Bronx, and this is me just trying to figure out like how am I going to get into this thing, and I'm listening to these guys and they're roughly the same age as me, and I'm like, yo, like how am I going to get into this thing? How am I going to get into this thing? And then I just started to like say, all right, I got to get this equipment together. I started having the equipment. No, I didn't get the equipment yet. I got the equipment like right a little bit afterward, like early 90, like late 96. I got the equipment. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, rest in peace to Prodigy, man. Pun was a surreal moment too, man. Just watching him record Capital Punishment, man, and I was like him going into that dark room and just sitting in that chair and then dropping that verse was like crazy for me. Like it was crazy. Like not knowing that it was going to turn into what it turned into. Like it really turned into something, and then him coaching Prospect through the verse. And it was just like, man, like it was just surreal, man. Shout out to Soundboy, Fat Joe, all those guys, man. Terror Squad. But yeah, I love those, man. Love that. Like love those times. Now you don't really get that you don't really get the opportunity to really get in with a lot of artists, Listen, man, as long as you got something in, man, like, once you, like, Spice One at one point was big as hell. Yeah, it's a really, we have a lot of moments, man. Like, there's moments where, you can't really believe it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be places and you'd be like, yeah, that's such and such, you know what I mean? And then you have to realize, like, again, like what a Nas situation, man. That, we used to like listen to that on the front, on the front stoop, and we used to have the radio out on the front porch, man, listening to freaking Silent Murder, man. Like, you know what I mean? So to go from that, listening to that on the front porch, on a busted radio, to finally getting the equipment, and then making our way, through the industry to get to somebody like that. You know how difficult it is to do it back then? You didn't have it like social media where you can go into people's comments and, you can like DM and you can do all these type of things to kind of get noticed, and maybe, you couldn't do that. Like if you wasn't in the room, you couldn't get any access. Now said live from New York is his top 4 race song. Listen, there's some Ray songs, man, that you ain't heard yet, man. And me and Mike got them in the chamber. We got some Ray music. And we got some music that we remixed too. We had some music that we had vocals for that we just remixed that was from that era that didn't clear. So, you'll see some of them on our YouTube. You can check those out. We don't put a lot of them out, but we've kind of tested out to see if people are waiting for it, or what the temperature is, if that makes sense. Shout out to everybody that joined the live. I think somebody just did this. But whatever. Yeah, man, Casty Streams, man. I'm here to answer questions, man. Yo, true story about Live from New York, man. Back then, that was one of the few records that had a hook. He was recording a lot of records with no hooks, man. So, like, because that had a hook, that kind of put it in the forefront of a lot of the other songs. That's the true story behind that one. Like, I remember them telling us that we had the single, and I remember looking at Mike like, we got the single? We looking at Mike like, we got the single for Ray? For the second album? And we were like literally in the office, like arguing with Power and them, like, yo, I don't know if it should be the first single, man. It felt like it was too regional. And then we also felt like coming off of the Purple Tape that we needed a lead off with RZA. But he just wasn't taking any music from RZA at the time. Like RZA was around, but he wasn't taking any music from him. I'm not sure why. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the songs, like honestly, a lot of the records, like some people won't remember this, but I remember it specifically. There were some tracks that RZA was playing for Ray during that period that did not make a Mobilarity, but they were used on the Iron Flag Wu-Tang album. You see what I'm saying? So, it's just something that I experienced and just being around, but as a fan, right? Because not just as a producer. I think what happens is, as a producer, you want to make the project, you want to have the single, but at the same time, you want a record to be successful overall, and you want it to be received by the fans a certain type of way. And I think our major concern back then was, everybody knows what the Purple Tape is. The Purple Tape is one of the more phenomenal albums in hip hop. And while we were trying to make sure that we had a decent follow up toward it, we felt like it still needed RZA in the midst of it. You know what I mean? just to kind of create a little bit more cohesion, if that makes sense. And because me and Mike, we were establishing ourselves as producers. We had the success with Pun, and Nas hadn't come out yet, and so we didn't have the voice to really dictate what we thought would have worked creatively, even as A&Rs on the project. We had a little bit of a voice on it, but you had to kind of be careful that you didn't rock the boat, because you're dealing with a lot of egos. So, but in retrospect, I think we said a lot of the stuff. We did the best that we could with what we had, and when I say the best that we could with what we had, meaning after we got kind of hit with a lot of sample issues, then we had to kind of revamp certain things, and then there were certain producers that just really wanted too much money. Shout out to Angeletti and them. You know what I'm saying? But Angeletti had just did the Benjamins, man, so it was just like he could have asked for anything. It's just that some people just didn't want to pay it at the time. So it is what it is. Shout out to everybody that's sharing the live. We've been live for 2 hours and 20 minutes. We did a bunch of beats tonight. We mixed a bunch of joints. Did about 4 or 5 joints that we mixed tonight, which was cool. Before I get out of here, I'm going to play my new favorite track called Fly Away. This is my new favorite track. He said, "Mad rapper trying to get paid." Nah, listen, man. He gave him this beat, man. He gave him this beat, like Angeletti gave him this beat, man. Called. You got to remember this now. This 2025. We recording this shit in 99, and I still remember the name of that song. And the name of that song was called Manischewitz. That's how crazy it was. Like, I still remember the name of an unreleased Raekwon song from 27 years ago. Or 25 years ago. So let that sink in. Like, that's how ill your man was at the time after he did the Benjamins. He was ill, bro. Like, he really was. And you don't get enough credit. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, he don't get enough credit. And, these guys shaped the sound of that era. You know what I mean? And you can't take anything away from these guys. And, like, being able, at that point, remember at that point, we were internal with Raekwon, right? So because we were internal, we, normally other producers can't sit in the session with other producers while they working on the joints. But because we were also the A&Rs on the project, like we were able to sit in and watch the process. So now I'm able to watch, the hitmen who just came off of Biggie doing Life After Death and all of that. You know what I mean? Who just did Diddy, No Way Out, no Diddy. We're looking at. I'm looking at the process. So we were able to learn. I was able to see things that helped to move the needle for me as well. Yeah, they listen, man. They don't get the appreciation that they should. Shout out to Young Lord. He did a interview with us on our podcast. He's from my neighborhood, and he did like Hypnotize. He helped co-produce Hypnotize and a few other records, man. He did It's Not a Killer for Pun. And Caribbean Connection he did for Pun. And for Fat Joe, I think he did John Blaze, So, he definitely did his thing. Before I get out of here, I'm gonna be playing my new favorite beat called Fly Away. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to everybody in the live tonight. Shout out to everybody that rock with me tonight. Shout out to everybody that's new subscribers, new followers. Calvin, I appreciate you, man. Kaz, I appreciate you, man. Yo, we here every night at 9 o'clock. Listen, I found myself driving real fast at this earlier today. I'm like, yo, why am I driving so fast? And I'm like, man, this joint don't put me in a trance. See this beat right here? I think it's too fast. Hold on. So that's part. We probably wind up doing this the same time we did the other beat. We just probably moved away from it. But yeah, I mean, man, it's really, really crazy when I think about, like, Richard, man, I see you tomorrow, man. Like, yo, like honestly, it's just different dealing with some of these beats, you know what I mean? So what did we do tonight? We did creative process.
Arkatech Beatz.
All right. Now we did the total dream.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that one's going too. That's called Miami Dice.
Arkatech
Arkatech Beatz.
That was called Street Lights. And then this one was called
Arkatech Beatz.
that one's called Dear Father. This one called Solo Mission.
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that one going crazy.
Beatz.
This one's called Mama's Prayer.
Arkatech Beatz.
You see, there's an album right there. It's somebody's album. It's somebody's album. The question is, whose album is it going to be? That's an album, but whose album is it going to be? I like this one right here.
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that one going crazy too. It's going bananas. That beat is called Lost. Now funny thing about this beat is all of a sudden I hear the Joey Badass and these guys on this one. It's kind of funny though, you know, same sample.
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that goes too. We played that earlier. The voice of reason. What's up, my brother?
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, y'all hear that? This one is called Born Ready.
Arkatech
Hit that like button, like my man said.
Arkatech Beatz.
Yeah, that joint go kind of. It do go, so they do kind of go a certain type of way. All right, let's do this. let's do this. Let's do this. This is what I'm gonna do. Because yeah, let's do this because my brain is saying this is what my brain is saying. My brain is saying let's do this. All right, we're gonna do this here. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna load up some of these tracks. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna play some of these tracks almost all the way through before I get out of here tonight. I just feel like jamming, so let's do that. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do we're gonna do the Cool Summer. We're gonna do that one, and then we're gonna do one more. All right, let's see how we can get this going. Let's go. Ready? We're gonna do. We did that. Y'all ready?
Arkatech Beatz.
called Wolfpack.
Arkatech Beatz.
Let's go. That joint is called Wolfpack. What's called Cooking Up. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
That one's called Cooking Up. This one's called Yeah Yeah. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
Let's go. That one's called Yeah. This one is called Night Rider. Let's go. Night Rider. Hold on, listen to this one. I need y'all to listen to this one. All right, let's pay attention. Y'all ready? Hold on.
Arkatech Beatz.
This one's called Stranger Things. This one's called Stranger Things. Listen. Did I play this already? I might have played it already. Let's make sure. Let's see. This is one that's called Lost. Yo, Rich, man. I try to make people see that I got a little bit of range. Listen. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1, bring the hook in.
Love when you feel like it. Only wanna love when it feels right. I don't even want it. Call me when you need it. Only wanna talk when you feel like it. Only wanna love when it feels right. I don't even want it.
I was like, oh shit, what's going on? Listen.
Arkatech Beatz.
They saying it's radio already. We about to see, man. You know what I'm saying? We about to see. You know, the beat packs is going out. We're gonna see what happens. Like, you know, what's gonna be very interesting. What's gonna be very interesting is after this 30 days is all done, right? When we're done with this whole 30, not with this 30 days, but when we kind of look back at everything that we built over the last month and a half, give or take, And then once you start seeing where these records start going, you're gonna be like, yo, I heard where Jug did that. I watched when he did it, and now look who it's with. Because they are going out, and that's part of the reason why I'm telling folks too. Like, listen, when we putting records online for independent artists to rock with, listen, we're really doing favor right here. Like, people don't really realize like the kind of access that we're granting with that. You know, like, people not really realizing it. They're not going to realize that value. You know, because again, people are too caught up in what's going on, you know, in the internet world. You know, but they're not realizing the true value of having really established producers on that project. And not only really just having really established producers from a sound perspective, right? Because, you know, I tell people all the time, like, sometimes, you know, some of the music that we got placed, it was really just because we were in the room. You know, it wasn't because sometimes, in some cases, it wasn't because this record was better than this guy's record. This guy just didn't have access. We did, you know. So when people are giving you access, you know, you need to take the access. And I think a lot of people are not realizing that. Like, yo, you have access. You know, you have access to someone who can literally, you know, give you the information or give you the blueprint to really move your situation faster forward.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech Beatz.
Wait a minute, I gotta let you hear this one. Y'all ready? On New York Monsters.
Arkatech.
This one we call Try Leaving. I don't know why I call it this stuff, but you know, it's just grimy, I guess.
Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz.
Calvin, we halftime now. Guys, I appreciate you. Listen. We call this one In This World. Y'all ready? But yo, they couldn't rap on it. They can't catch it. Like, they can't catch it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you do the 4-3, they can't catch it. I used to have a lot of beats like that. Excuse me. That's prior to like listen, man, I got one joint, man. I got one joint that's like that, but I don't know if it's in here. I have to double check. If it's in here, but it's very old. My joint say low memory. What? Hold on, let's go. Someone's asking me what studio monitors am I using. I am using Yamahas, but I do have KRKs, and I do have Mackies, and I do have Behringer. So on this in front of me, you guys can't see it in front of me, but in front of me is my main station, and right here my first two are the Yamaha NS8s. Is it NS8s? Behind me is a smaller station, and that smaller station is probably for my archive records. Those are older tracks that probably exceed about 5 to 10 years. So every time, like I have to, the joke is that I have all of the computers that I have to keep every last computer just in case somebody wants something from whatever. So I have a computer that's literally I had to find some legal documents on a computer that was basically a Macintosh G4 from 1999, and it still turns on and it still works, but I had to get some documents off of it from my attorney for a record that we had did a while back, and they're trying to, we're trying to do something with that. So, I keep those type of things. But for people who are looking to know what our list is, as far as the equipment that we're using, you can go to arkatechbeatz.com and just click on the menu and click on studio gear, and then you get to see like everything that me and Mike are using. So between the interfaces, the hardware, the speakers that we use, this microphone, headphones, the only thing that's not on there is this keyboard, because this keyboard is it's an Akai MPK 261, and it's discontinued. So, but that's just a controller. I don't really use it for more than that. And then I have another, a small MPK mini. But hold on, let me see if I can. I'm just trying to say, is it saving all of these samples? I don't need it to do that, but I guess it is doing it. What is going on here? Okay.
Arkatech Beatz.
There's different joints here, man. But let me see something here. I'm gonna go back to menu. We're gonna do a new project. I want to save the changes. Don't save those changes. And we're gonna do a new sequence. Well, not a new sequence, but let me see something here. Gasoline. I'm trying to find something that's unreleased, but I'm not sure if I could play that. Can't play that. That's just terrible. I got some joints though, man. I ain't gonna hold you. There's definitely some joints in here, but I can't do anything with those right now. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. shout out to everybody that's rocking with me, man. I've been live for 3 hours. What? You kidding? Like 3 hours in this thing? That's nutty, man. That's crazy. I guess time flies when you're having fun. Hold on, let's play that for y'all. This one is called Block Spin. All right, we're gonna spin the block on this one. All right. That one is called Block Spin. You know, if you know, you know. Let's go back out. Let's go into internal. On the embassy documents. In any event, I think I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna call it a night. Man. I played quite a few joints tonight, man. Like, I played quite a few. There's a good number. I think maybe over 20 we played tonight. But shout out to everybody that joined into the live tonight, man. Shout out to everybody that asked questions, that got their questions answered. What I'm hoping for tomorrow is I hope to be able to just cook up tomorrow. You know, gotta just handle some business at the crib. But outside of that, I'll probably dig for some samples and, you know, make sure we're cooking up live. Probably tomorrow what I want to do in terms of tutorial wise, probably want to focus on like chopping and manipulating. So I want to probably do that. And then let's see if we can do that and see how we can get that going. But for the most part, you know, I appreciate y'all. You know, I'm gonna leave y'all with my favorite right now, which is called Fly Away. And I just, you know, I don't know, there's something about this particular track. Let's see where it lands. Peace, y'all.